Happy summer, y'all. What's happening? It's Fuzz Martin, and this is 15 Minutes with Fuzz. I hope you had a great Father's Day weekend. I know I did. We went and did some beer tasting at Sprecher Brewery in Milwaukee, then had a nice dinner. I'm still full. Might be full the whole week. Who knows? But it was a great weekend. You know, if there's one thing I'm impressed with here in Washington County, Wisconsin, it is the parks. From our local municipalities to the county parks themselves, there is no shortage of great places to go explore and recreate here in Washington County. Whether you want to swim, golf, hike, run the pups, sit down and have a nice beer, you can find whatever you're looking for very close to home. And this week, Jamie Ludovic, Washington County's Chief Community Development Officer, and Nick Marking, owner-operator of the Tap Yard Beer Garden, joined me to talk about the new Tap Yard Beer Garden at Ackerman's Grove in the town of Polk. After recording this episode, I held an employee meeting there. I don't think I ever want to hold meetings anywhere else other than the Tap Yard. The rest of the summer, it's a great place with great beer and a great view. And now, here's 15 minutes on the Tap Yard Beer Garden at Ackerman's Grove Park with Jamie Ludovic and Nick Marking here on 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Jamie and Nick, thank you for coming in today. First, Jamie, let's talk about Washington County's park system. So you and I spoke about it in the winter regarding sledding hills, but we're finally back to warm outdoor weather season. And Washington County has a lot to offer. So first off, how many parks do we have in the Washington County Parks and Trail System?
So there's 6 major parks, just over 1,000 acres. Ackerman's Grove, Yar, Sandy Knoll, Heritage Trails, Homestead Hollow, Glacier Hills, and then we have 3 smaller parks, Spaeth, Gaydon, and 1 boat launch on Silver Lake. And then, of course, we have our beloved Eisenbahn Trail.
Yes, the Eisenbahn Trail is beloved, for sure. And so the parks aren't just beautiful green spaces, but you guys also have a ton of amenities, right? So can you highlight some of the fun things that listeners and their families can do at our Washington County parks?
Sure. And yeah, it's an absolute beautiful time to visit them. So I'm going to kind of go in just a random order. But the first thing that always pops into my head is dogs. So dogs are allowed on leash in all of our parks. Sandy Paws at Sandy Knoll and Homestead Howl in Homestead Hollow in Germantown are 2 dog parks. Germantown actually offers an agility course in that dog park. We think both of them are fantastic and offer trails in the woods for those dog parks.
The dog parks in Washington County are fantastic. I have a little puppy that we got during the pandemic. She's not a little puppy anymore, but she was when we first got her. But the fact that, like at Sandy Knoll, there's the little dog one and the big dog one. I think at Homestead Howl there is as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's if you have not taken your dogs to them, they are wonderful.
Right. And, later we're going to talk about some of the events that we have going on, but the dogs are welcome at all of those events, which we're finding is something that people want, and that's unique to county parks. We also have our disc golf courses. We have 2, one in Heritage Trails, and then we have our Sandy Knoll disc golf course. They both have 18 regular holes. Sandy Knoll actually has another 9 beginner holes. I'm going to butcher this word. I'm not a disc golfer. Anfänger. Is that right?
It sounds right. It's a nice German word, whatever it is.
Yeah, and there are a variety of forested and open holes, and the partnership with Riverside Disc Golf Course has really made that an elite course in Washington County. I mean, it really is great. We have professional tournaments there, and its maintenance level is just something that only a community like Washington County can deliver.
Yeah, and if you walk through Sandy Knoll, you'll see you can, like, as one of the trails or a few of the trails kind of walk alongside of the disc golf course, and it's really fun even if you're not a disc golfer to see other people doing it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Fishing. So we have a variety of different bodies of water. There's 2 ponds in Sandy Knoll and 1 in Homestead Hollow. The Homestead Hollow one is stocked. Gaydon has access to the Milwaukee River. There's 4 lakes that we have access to. Little Cedar, which we'll talk about more, Silver, Freeze, and Erler Lake. And the lakes are in Ackerman's Grove, Henschke Hillside, Glacier Hills, and Yar Park. And that segues right into swimming, which we have 3 swim at your own risk locations in Ackerman's Grove, Sandy Knoll, and Yar Park. And I'll just add that Yar Park the beach was recently tripled in size.
Okay.
And that is really on the must-do summer bucket list for anybody with kids 12 and under. It's just an absolutely gorgeous swimming location. And I mean, it really rivals any swimming beach I've ever been to with my children.
Okay,
So,
that's great to know. With places like Kewaskum, where the pool is closed this year, and some other places where they're currently having issues finding staff, that's a swim at your own risk place, so you have to take your own risk, but you can still go swimming there. So that's great. And the fact that there's a great beach is great too.
right. It's a huge beach. It's non-motorized. And it's fairly shallow, so it's a great swim at your own risk location. You can see the playground on one side and the beach, and we absolutely love it. I'm sure everybody will love it. And as that amenity builds, we look forward to what's going to come out of that swimming hole.
Very good.
Geocaching. I put this on the list because of our recent Boy Scouts of America project.
Okay.
Where there is actually some geocaching of veterans' grave sites throughout the county happening, and we have geocaches that are hidden throughout all of our parks. We have planted them there, both in partnership with West Bend's Cache Bash, but also just users have done that. So if you're a geocacher, you could pick any one of these locations, pair that with hiking, which all of our parks are great for hiking and walking, particularly Glacier Hills, which you should also put on your summer bucket list. And that's one that I think everybody should give a try to. Have you been geocaching?
I have not been geocaching, though I am on the West Bend Area Chamber of Commerce board, so I probably should because they're so heavily involved with it. Right. So, yep. I mean, West Bend is the geocaching area of the world or something like that. So,
yeah, absolutely. I've got glamping. So we have 9 tiny cabins in Glacier Hills. Our parks don't offer traditional camping, but we do have the wooden structures that are available for rent on Airbnb. And that's a really unique experience with kids that kind of keeps you away from the bugs, but also gets you in nature a little bit. That if somebody's kind of interested in the staycation with gas prices being so high, I really encourage people to take a look at the camping cabins available, still available for this summer for rent on Airbnb.
Okay, very good. And you can find the listing of them on the county website, right?
Yep. Correct. WashcoParks.com.
Great.
And then the last thing, events. We do have a variety of events happening throughout the parks, beer gardens, and as well as, there's live music happening, and you can find a calendar for all of those and things that are happening within those parks on our website. Washington
County also runs the Washington County Golf Course, right? Which is the #1 ranked municipal course in Wisconsin. So what makes it so great?
Well, Fuzz, I'm glad you asked.
Just set you up with super easy questions here.
Super easy. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go to Midwest Golf Magazine for this one.
All right, perfect.
So they recently did their own story, and they called us the king of perceived value.
Great.
So in a great article that they wrote on us, I absolutely love it. I quote it all the time. It's called Value Driven. They talk about the championship conditioned and maintained property that charges a municipal rate. And then they go on and talk about the 4 mission goals of the course that form the code of conduct and how those common goals is what leads us to success. What's really interesting, and I'm going to just opine on, I can go into those goals about the community and the quality of play in Washington County. But this year, it's the 25th anniversary of the course. And I had the opportunity to work on a history piece about the 25th anniversary celebration. There's also a canned beer from City Lights Brewing about this and celebrations and customer appreciation happening all season. But when they built it to be the People's Country Club. They wanted a public golf course that was elite golf. So it was a very intentional goal of the private sector donors going into that course. And I think it's an example of where the community really talked about a gap that they saw, and then they kind of came together to make that happen. So we're celebrating all season long, and you can find information on the golf course's website about that.
And I'll link to that in the show notes here for this episode. One of the great parks in Washington County is right off Highway Z in the town of Polk. It's on the shore of Little Cedar. It's called Ackerman's Grove. What can you tell me specifically about Ackerman's Grove?
Well, it's a beautiful spot. The Cedar Lake area is beautiful. And I know we're going to talk about kind of how we're trying to bring some life to this park in your next question. But so I'm going to take the opportunity, since you asked me, to tell you that what I love about this park, and Nick, maybe this will be news to you later, but is the new SC Wave Washington County Soccer Club sign.
Okay.
So what we don't know about that sign at the entrance of that park is all it says is home of SC Wave Washington County. But every time I drive by it, the word home is sort of a trigger for me about belonging in a place where we come and we return.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that the county executive and our team is working really hard to create in Washington County, is kind of that sense of place in a variety of ways. And so that sign is that visual reminder for me of this is our home.
Sure.
And everything we do here, kind of comes back to, do you want this in our place? It's ours. It's our community, and we should protect it diligently. And so we try to do that.
I love that statement. And being a resident of the county, obviously, it's great to have all of these parks, but that's really cool. So thank you, Jamie, for that. Appreciate that. And then we're going to talk to you, Nick. This year with the Washington County Parks and Trail System, they've now formed a public-private partnership today with the Tap Yard Beer Gardens. Sorry to keep you waiting, Nick, but welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So tell us a bit about your background. How did you get started?
Sure. I used to own the Brass Tap in Greenfield. We had 80 draft beers on tap, so kind of a smorgasbord, like eclectic mix of every style of beer that you could imagine. And I owned that for 7 years, sold to my bar manager during the pandemic.
Okay.
And we started a beer garden right down the street at 84th and Layton.
Okay.
It was a wild success, and we just saw kind of how successful it was, what we did down there, and so like, well, this has some wheels. And we decided to, once I sold the bar, like, hey, let's start this beer garden entity. We started our first location in Waukesha, a great success. Year 2 is this year as well. And we decided to expand, and we started with an Instagram post to the social media for Washington County, and like, hey, we're interested potentially in seeing what you may have in Washington County for expansion of the tap yard. And here we are today. So started negotiations and how this came to be, and we're very excited to be at Ackerman's Grove.
During the pandemic, starting an outdoor kind of beer garden type thing was something that we all needed, first of all. But I don't see that going away, because I think we all fell in love with that when it was the only thing we could do.
Absolutely. And certainly, those numbers that we had at 84th and Layton were monsters, because we were the only ones open.
Right.
But we certainly, this process beer gardens are here to stay.
Yep.
And, we love to be a part of Ackerman's Grove in Washington.
So tell us about the tap yard. According to the press release, you guys have 24 drafts of craft beer and hard seltzer. So you guys have a huge selection.
Yes, we have a huge selection, both local, regional, and national brands. We certainly have hard seltzers as well, from Eagle Park to Truly's to, that kind of line. And we have live music. We have trivia on Thursdays, and then we have family fun days on Sundays as well.
What kind of things happen on family fun days?
Sure. Well, obviously, there's a beach down on the below the hill
that
lots of people use. There's a playground down there as well. And we also will be having NNC come in with inflatables every probably 6 weeks that come in, run a nice family fun event for us. So that's a lot of fun things for the kids.
All right. And then I saw that you have a board and brush Wednesdays. What is that?
Sure. So it's called Plant and Sip.
Okay.
So Plant and Sip is where they come in, people pay for the ticket, they build a kind of terrarium, kind of succulent kind of thing.
Sure.
And then they have a couple beers on top of it.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
That's very cool. You have music in the parks on Fridays and Saturdays. What kind of music do you?
Yeah, we have an eclectic mix. We have live music about 4 to 5 times a month.
Okay.
We started out with Robert Allen Jr. duo. He's a fantastic blues duo. And this week we have Marcel Guyton coming. He plays a lot in the area.
Okay.
Plays the piano. Really great music. A lot of fun. And we have Marlo Parada. He does a lot of like 90s, 2000 music, like light rock. So yeah, kind of an eclectic mix of music kind of coming in the summer at Ackerman's Grove.
Is there a cover charge for that kind of
No
stuff?
cover charge. So obviously there is a sticker to come into the park for the county residents.
Yep.
And then otherwise it is a $5 fee for entrance.
I also saw you guys have a food truck that comes as well. Is that right?
We do. So Tacos LaGuara, they use at Fleet Farm.
Yep.
They are our resident truck. So they'll be there most of the summer for us, which is amazing. They serve some really, really good food. And then we do a food truck cuisine tour once a month on Sundays. So it usually will fall on the second Sunday of the month.
Okay.
The next one coming up is Taco Fest. So we'll have a bunch of taco trucks out there on Sunday, which is amazing. Tacos LaGuara will be part of that as well. And we expect, really fun crowds for that as well.
Yeah, I did have Tacos LaGuara one afternoon for lunch, and I will say that they are amazing. They're really great.
They're amazing people, and we're very proud to partner with them to provide food at Ackerman's Grove.
And there was a nice line of people waiting for food. I was very happy to see that.
Yeah.
So, what days of the week is the Tap Yard open at Ackerman's Grove?
So we're open Wednesday through Sunday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 to 9 p.m. Saturday, 12 to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 12 to 7 p.m.
Perfect. Jamie, Washington County's been doing a lot to promote regular use of the parks and trails. This started as having a beer truck at one park like once a week, and it seems to have grown. I assume you're seeing a positive response from county residents on these kind of events?
We are. We hear constant positive feedback about the people attending these parks and the environment that it creates when they're out there.
Where can people find information about the events happening at the various Washington County parks and trails?
The county website, washcowisco.gov, does have a lot of that. You can also check out our Facebook page. I think that's probably the best place to get the event schedules because a lot of those are posted there and co-hosted with Washington County Parks collectively.
Sure.
So if you're on Facebook and you don't follow Washco Parks, check that out.
Very good. And then, Nick, where can people find out more about the Tap Yard?
Sure. We do have an app called the Tap Yard app. You can download it in Google Play or the Apple Store. So that has all of our events on it for our locations. Also, Facebook is a very vibrant social media presence that we have. So it's facebook.com/thetapyard and all of our events on there and all the things that we do. And it's a very nice way to kind of interact with us as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you both for coming in. We really appreciate it and look forward to using the parks this summer.
Thank you.
Yeah, we look forward to having you.
Thank you again to Jamie Ludovic from Washington County and Nick Marking from the Tap Yard for joining me today. Again, if you'd like more info on the Tap Yard Beer Garden, search for it in Facebook if you're on desktop or mobile. But if you are on desktop, you can go to facebook.com/thetapyard to get there. And if you'd like to learn more about this show, go to facebook.com/15withfuzz. You can also find me on Instagram, sometimes on Twitter. Same handle, @15withfuzz. More episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also visit 15withfuzz.com. And that's it. Hope you have a great week. Thanks again for listening. Stay cool. And we'll talk to you next time, right here on 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Have a good one.